Welcome in to the Instant REAX podcast for week number 5. What a week it is. I cannot wait to get into this. Kyle Kampmeyer on the horn here. We also have Mitch Stormer on the line. Guys, what a night here. I can't wait to get into it. Mitch, you've been kind of monitoring things around the area. Kyle, you were at, which game were you at, Kyle?
Forest and Galena.
Forest and
He was at one of the best ones of the night.
I was going to say, wow, you got a lot to talk about in your game. So before we kind of get into all the details of everything, Mitch, I think we just need to start. We need to hit the scoreboards, kind of give everybody just a general update of what we got. And we got a coach already waiting in the lobby here, so we're ready to rock and roll. Let's start in the Western Big Six and kind of work our way through.
For the first time in I don't know how long, we had 3 shutouts in the Western Big Six tonight. We got to reshare those scores there, Greg.
Yeah, I know.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
3 shutouts. Let's go through this. Number one, the game of the week in this conference was Moline Quincy. This was a game that we weren't so quick to say that the winner of this game was going to win the conference, but they're certainly going to be at the top, standalone solo in the Western Big Six. Moline goes to Flynn Stadium in Quincy and wins 39-0. An unbelievable game. This is the one I followed tonight because we had eyes and ears everywhere tonight. Shim's already talking to us here in the show. We had the Watchdogs out tonight in full force. Elsewhere, you had the big game between Geneseo and United Township. This was, Greg, another game. UT led 21-7. Geneseo comes back. Hang on now. Geneseo comes back. UT scores twice in the fourth, misses both extra points. Geneseo scores with like 14 seconds left to win. Geneseo gets a 36-33 win over UT.
I'll go ahead.
Sterling.
I'll go ahead and say it real quick. Is this already like the best Western Big Six season we've ever seen?
Yeah, I think so. And I don't think we're done yet.
I don't
think we're done yet.
Go ahead.
You had Sterling continuing to roll 48-0 over Galesburg. And then you had Rock Island in a 51-0 win over Alleman that was called in the third quarter due to an injury on Alleman's side. So we hope the best there. But yeah, this was unbelievable of the 2 big games in this conference. Just for different reasons. Crazy night in the Western Big Six.
Yeah. Well, I said we were going to hit all the scoreboards, but let's put a hold on that because we have a Western Big Six coach on the line. Let's bring him in here. I think the game we all talked about going into the week was Moline and Quincy, and it was Moline going on the road, getting the win 39-0. Joining us, I think, on the road back to the Quad Cities, head coach. Do we call you Michael Morrissey? Is that's what it says? So.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's the full name.
Hey, Coach, the headphones maybe are a little loud. I don't know if that's going to work. Well, we'll try it. Go ahead.
Do you want me to take them out?
Yeah, maybe. Let's see how that sounds. I don't know. We'll see. I'm playing with fire here. Oh, yeah, that didn't work. Nope. Oh, there we go.
Oh, are we good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Now we're good. Now
All right.
So, Coach, I hope you can hear me because we can hear you better. But a huge week in the Western Big Six, a really big game for you. You got to go on the road to Quincy. What were you planning in this week? What were you looking at as far as this Quincy squad goes? What did you know you had to execute? What did you do tonight?
Yeah, I mean, they're a good football team, and we knew that going in. So obviously, we had to put a little bit of a different game plan together on both sides of the ball. When you come off playing a physical, run-oriented Geneseo team and then kind of flip the script to a Quincy team that will stretch you horizontally and vertically, defensively speaking, our coaches put a lot of time and effort into a different package defensively, and that's about as well as we played in a very long time on both sides, and really in all 3 phases of the game. So our kids stepped up. They get all the credit because they're the ones that are representing our program on the field, and we're just, definitely a good night.
Yeah. Mitch, take it away.
So, Coach, you start off hot. Mark Carey gets going, 2 touchdowns there. You had I think it was a 29-yard field goal from Nolan Ducey. You go into the half up 17. And then the second half happens where you get the blocked punt safety, and that was one of 4. Well, no, I'm sorry, that wasn't one of 4. But then you had 4 additional turnovers in the second half on defense. I mean, what about this defensive unit of yours that's cooking so well lately?
Yeah, honestly, they just believe. I mean, they believe in each other. They're accountable to each other. They work hard in practice. Everything is structured with a purpose. You know, I mean, it's not like we go into practice and these guys, you know, just throw drills together. I mean, they do things defensively that we feel are going to be applicable on a Friday night. And our coaching staff has done a tremendous job of putting that stuff together and putting our guys in a position to be successful. And then really, we've had a bunch of guys step up. You know, we had a bunch of interceptions. That's awesome. But you see a kid like Garrett Schramm, you know, create a fumble, and then Hassan Adai picks it up and runs it back for a touchdown. You know, I mean, that's big time. You know, that's guys doing their job and understanding what their role is and stepping up when they're given the opportunity. And I think a lot of guys did that tonight. Our defensive line is relentless, you know, with everything that they do. So we had a lot of guys that play for us defensively, and all of them have done a pretty tremendous job, and we're very proud of them.
Yeah. And you had a sophomore get his first career touchdown there late, right? Stanley Golden.
Yeah, so he got in the end zone. Honestly, I mean, Sam Ngango had a touchdown call back earlier. I mean, we had a lot of guys score tonight, and obviously we distributed the ball to a lot of guys in the passing game as well. And you know, we're offensively, we're some rhythm and figure out what we want to be and get an identity. And the nice part is we feel like we can lean on our run game and then also obviously stretch the field in the passing game when we need to.
Well, it's got to be nice to do that without Eli Warren tonight too, to put up a 39-0 win without one of your better backs. I mean, that just shows you the kind of weapons that you've got to play with.
Yeah, I mean, we got kids that are they're ready and they're willing to step up. I mean, that's the cool thing. You know, like we have some pretty special kids in our school and pretty special kids in our community, and they buy into what we do. You know, they're not selfish kids. They obviously care tremendously about each other, and as they're cheering in the back about God knows what. But like that's who they are. You know, I mean, they're great young men, and we're super proud of them. And the next guy is always ready. Amari Skurlock had a bunch of yards today running the ball. So we have a lot of guys that can step into whatever kind of role we try to put them in, and you know, that makes it easy for us for sure.
Coach, talk a little bit about, you know, you've referenced how many guys you got stepping up right now. What is it? What do you try to do amongst you and your coaching staff to develop that depth? You know, like, you know that maybe some guys that are 2 deep or even 3 deep, you never know when they're going to get a chance to play. What do you guys do as a coaching staff? Because it seems like you do have guys that are ready. They're ready to go when they need to.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like they all get reps at some point. Like they all do. And then, you know, the guys that are in practice that are kind of, you know, labeled as scout team kids, they still get their opportunities. They do. They get their opportunities to play. And like they embrace their role and they're excited about it. And, you know, they're a big part of what we do preparation wise. So those kids get a lot of credit for this night as well. It's not always the guys on the stat sheet. But the cool part is, you know, because we have a system in place, you know, from really the junior Maroons all the way up, like these guys know. They know what the footwork is. They know what the blocking angles are. They understand what our blocking calls are and defensively how to align and what the blitzes are and what the slants are and what the coverages are in the back end. Like, I'm not kidding. That starts from 3rd grade on. And that's a credit to all the guys that are, you know, in our coaching tree all the way up. You know, I mean, that's how it works. Like these guys buy in and they put our kids in our community in a position to be successful.
Yeah. So, Coach, you kind of take a stronghold here. You take a nice, grab of the Western Big Six. But Geneseo also got a big win tonight too. So they're now right on your heels. And, you got the win over them. But this conference, week in and week out, you got to feel good right now, though, where you're at.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, conference championships and all that talk is just, it's a goal. It's always a stepping stone. But, I think deep down, like our kids want playoff wins and they want to be able to, kind of can keep pressing. And we knew our conference was going to be, this way. We knew it going into the season. I mean, we've talked about it a million times over. On any Friday night, anybody can win. And that's the cool part about the great coaches in our conference, the unbelievable kids that are in our conference all the way across the board. And obviously tonight was no different. Tonight gave us a lot of excitement, a lot of probably unexpected. And I'm sure next Friday night we'll deliver the exact same thing in the Western Big Six.
Yep. Anything else for Coach Mitch?
Just congrats on the win. Congrats on really how you guys have been playing all season, and looking forward to the rest of the 4 weeks here to close out the regular season.
I appreciate that. I'm telling you, Mitch, there's some people in the back though that want to have a conversation with you about the preseason picks. About the preseason picks. I'm just saying.
I picked you tonight.
I'm looking back there. I think I hear a Mitch chant in the background. No, I'm kidding.
They're all great.
Hey,
they're all
I'm
Greg
kidding.
guys.
I'm kidding.
They're all Greg guys for sure.
They're big. They're big
you
Greg
guys-
Armstrong fans now.
That's what I'm saying. They're like, yes, Greg, bring it, Greg. You're welcome at Wharton
I picked you
anytime
tonight.
want.
I picked you tonight.
No, I appreciate you guys. In all honesty, like what you guys do for our kids and the coverage in the local area, it's unique because they'll have this forever. And I don't think they understand it yet. But 5-10 years from now, like the appreciation will mean so much more. So thank you guys for what you do. Appreciate you having me on. As always, obviously our kids gave me this opportunity, which is cool. But appreciate you guys. Hope you have a great rest of your night.
Yeah. Hey,
Thanks,
safe
Coach.
travels, Coach.
Thank you guys.
All right. Hey, Mitch, let's get into the sorry, we just did the Western Big Six.
We just did that.
Let's get into Three Rivers Athletic Conference scores.
Okay.
We have more coaches on the road ready to jump in here. So, let's find some scoreboards here. It's a jam-packed night. Let's get into the Three Rivers. Here we go, Mitch. Read us through the scores from the TRAC.
All right, let's go through the Rock first, knowing who's in our waiting area. Let's go through the Rock. The big game in the Rock was Rock Ridge and Newman. Close early. Greg, you'll have more insight on this since you were there. Rock Ridge wins 26-6 over Newman, a dominant second half for the Rockets. They take control of this Rock division. You had Riverdale continuing to play well, a 42-28 win over Orion. We had Dazzo at that game. He'll join us here soon. Might have a coach with him as well. And Erie Provincetown got the win over Mercer County, 43-15. We go to the other side of the Mississippi. Spring Valley Hall, a 44-0 win over Kewanee. You had Mendota snapping a 16-game losing streak, defeating Sherrard 14-10. And the big one on this side, Monmouth Roseville, in a game that I watched in a utterly dominating fashion, defeats Princeton 36-8. Unmute yourself, Mike, or unmute yourself, Greg. Greg, you're muted.
All right. So there we are. The head coach of the Monmouth Roseville Titans, Jeremy Adolphson. Coach, where are you at? How are you celebrating here?
I think we're at the Atkinson exit at Love's gas station here. So I had to find a place to pull over. We can talk to you guys. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, sorry, we made you wait a few minutes, but
no problem.
You probably are enjoying every bit of the trip home. Coach, it was a big game. No way around it, right? I mean, the way you guys handled yourselves last year in that game at home, this Princeton team is the program that a lot of teams in the TRAC want to be, including yourselves. You go on the road and get the convincing win. What was the focus this week, and what'd you execute?
We wanted to be the more physical team. We really thought we were. We talked about it all week. We know they're a good team, but we really felt like if we both played our best, that we were probably a little bit better than them. We just kind of felt like our physicality up front and the way our guys run, and we got guys that are tough to tackle. And defensively, the way we've tackled and played this year, just kind of felt like, if everything was equal, that we probably had just a few more horses going for us, and they sure played that way tonight.
Yeah, Mitch, what do you got?
No, like I said, Coach, I was following this game. I I tweeted out that it cannot be fun to play against your offensive line. And the more that the game went on, I should have just extended that tweet that I don't think it's fun to play Monmouth Roseville. It just looked like every phase of your team just was throwing haymakers every play. And it shows in the final score. It shows in the way that you just all your backs just fall forward. right?
Yep.
Like they
Yeah.
either have an open way to the end zone or they're just falling forward every single play. So I really, really enjoyed watching this group. Nick Houston, another nice night for him. I don't want to miss anybody's stats or anything, but just a completely dominant effort for your group.
Yeah, they were great. Early on they took some shots and had some blitzes that got through, but there was 2 plays early where Nick got hit in the backfield, and I think we ended up getting 5 yards and 4 yards on those 2 plays. And Landon Montroy took a shot in the backfield, and he fought for it and got another 3 or 4. And then just kind of as the game progressed, now we're starting to see the holes and the creases, and they were getting bigger. We had a touchdown, a 2-point conversion for Nick there before half where he didn't get touched on either one of them, just ran the same play back to back. And our kids just fired off the ball, played really, really physical. I think we ended up like 320 yards rushing. They had 30. It was just one of those deals where the guys up front were fantastic. And as the game went along, you could just tell like our guys are still big, and they were feeling good and flying off the ball. And their guys, some of that energy and that speed and that quickness that they were trying to combat us with was starting to go away a little bit. And then we get in the second half with the lead and can start chewing up the clock a little bit. You're still getting first downs, and I think that's just. It's a little bit, demoralizing, obviously, for the other team, but it's also like an energy boost for our guys. You can see it happening out there on the field, and our guys now are coming off and they're nodding their head like they're tired, but they're acting like they're not. Just because the energy they're playing with and the success they're having. And we threw a couple passes today. We completed both of those. That was a big thing for us. But the defense was awesome. I mean, everything was fantastic tonight. Yeah, to go out and do it again. 28-point victory again was awfully impressive. But just everybody who stepped on the field for us tonight did some really good things. And whether they were playing 100 snaps or 20 snaps, we just had a lot of positive contributions all the way across.
Coach, sometimes I think that, us as who've been around a while and you had coaching, we've been around football, high school football a while, and we get lost in the history of it, right? And we know that Princeton's been good for a long time now. Now, with Ryan Pearson being there, maybe sometimes is that lost on your kids that they know Princeton's good, but maybe they don't see it and how long it's been. And what do you tell your kids going into this week that, Princeton, you got them last year, but they're just as good? What was the message going into this week where I know we've talked a long time about you want to bring Monmouth Roseville up to the standard of it's Newman, it's Princeton,
right.
it's those benchmark teams. What was the message this week?
I think I just kind of rattled off the top of my head. I was like, I gave them the list of teams that had beaten Princeton once since 2018, and that list isn't very long, and we were on it. 5 or 6 teams, and then the list of teams that have beaten them twice since then, and it's Newman, Byron, Montini, and EIC Catholic, and now Monmouth Roseville. Like that's how good they've been. Like to beat those guys more than one time in a 7-year span, you got to be one of the best teams around, and to do it back-to-back years was big for us. And we just told them, we went and won the game last year. A little bit surprising with how we won the game possibly, but again, winning it one time doesn't make you necessarily the team to beat. And we knew that, and our kids heard that going into this year, and for good reason, because when Princeton's always there, and then they still made the quarterfinals last year. Like, you got to go prove it. And we just kind of told them this. We're giving them another shot at it. Like, we got the title right now, and we're putting it on the line every time we play. But we're going to bring it to their field, lay it down, and say, all right, tonight you got 2 hours to take it from us. If not, we plan on walking out of here with it again. And for our kids, it's such a great feeling. Our seniors especially, they beat their JV week 1 back in 2023 when like some of thjust kids weren't playing a lot of varsity for us yet. So they got to win there, and then to beat them last year and to beat them again this year, I've just been really impressed with our kids, our level of confidence, and then going out there and executing the game plan and just having fun. The thing about this group is we haven't really had any stinker quarters or drives or anything. Like, we've been pretty dang solid all year. As good as we were and as flash we were at times last year, we still had some games where we didn't play great early in the year against competition that wasn't awesome. But this year, these guys are just, whoever's been on the other side, that's been the guys we tried to run through. And Mitch said it really well. They're like, we try to run people over. That's what we try to do. And, people are going to be faster than us, and we understand that, but you got to get in our way first before you have to worry about the speed thing. And our guys, like I said, they take it to heart. I think they enjoy playing this style. This is what we do. But I think there's a lot of kids that probably wouldn't want to play for us because of what we ask our guys to do, but it's just, and they know it's successful. And I think they also understand when they beat somebody how it feels when you just feel like you've just taken someone's will away, where they just don't want to go against you anymore, and they just kind of want to get off the field and move on to next week.
Yeah. Coach or Mitch, anything else for Coach?
Coach, what do you got to do here in the next 2 weeks to hang on to that top spot there and go back to back in the Mississippi?
Well, obviously, Sherrard will be a challenge next week. Carter Brown will be by himself, will be a big challenge for us again on the road. And then you got Hall right now. They're sitting at 3-0 on our side. They got Princeton next week, and stranger things have happened. We told the kids there's a chance that in 2 weeks at our place, it could be another, conference championship game. They find a way to get past Princeton. They're sitting right there. And if they don't, they're still sitting there with one loss playing us. So, there's a lot of good football in front of us. And, of course, we know the crossovers, Rockridge and Newman, are going to be really good as well. So, yeah, I think our kids will continue to stay focused. Tonight was also cool. We got Andrew Way, one of our 3-year starters, was back on the field on defense. Tonight, he hasn't played all season, got injured in a scrimmage at the end of the summer. And so, we're adding a first-team unanimous all-conference player at this point in the season to a group of guys that have done really well. So I still think there's, a lot of room for improvement for us here and guys that are willing to put in the work to get there.
Yeah. All right, well, Coach, what are you getting to eat there at the Loves in Atkinson?
Well, we already stopped and got something to eat, but I think our guys want to send a quick message to Matt Randazzo and Ty Taylor before we take off. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Never pick against the Titans.
Hey, I learned my lesson, right? I learned my lesson, boys.
Yes. Yeah.
It happens.
Hey, Coach, we love it. Thank you so much for stopping and waiting for us at Atkinson. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Thanks. Love the work. We'll catch up when we get home.
All right, sounds good.
Take care, guys.
Yep.
Thanks, Coach.
Bye.
All right, so there we go. Hey, let's stay in the Three Rivers Athletic
Greg,
Conference.
we could not have picked a better week to pick Monmouth Roseville. It's on paper. We picked them.
Yep. Hey, there he is. Chase is back. I mean Coach Sam Graves.
Yeah, hey, hi guys, how's it going?
Hey, it's going good. Hey, Coach, this was a marquee matchup for you guys. We just rolled through all the scores in the Three Rivers. Talk about the game prep that went into this one. It's a matchup that, Newman's defense had handled you the last 2 years and really gotten the job done. What were you looking at? What were you trying to do? What worked tonight? It was a battle. It was a battle on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, it was. Honestly, we were pretty disappointed with how last week went. Even in that rainy weather against the EP, we thought we were very sloppy. Both sides of the ball, but especially up front. We kind of challenged our offensive line this week and I think, Coach Henry's and Coach Smith is our offensive line coaches, but Coach Henry flat out challenged those guys and said, this week it'll be on you guys, whether we're winning or not Friday night. And they answered the call. They got us a little bit early with some stuff, with some stunts and looping and just trying anything they could up front. But once we settled into the game plan, and I think we kind of warmed down up front, our offensive line really did a great job taking over, and we were able to run the ball. And then, of course, it really opens things up running the ball when you can still hit a couple of those deep plays with throwing the ball. So when you have that threat and you can get safeties out of the box, that helps a little bit too.
Yeah. Coach, I want to ask you about, I want to ask you about Cullen Schweigen and what he does on the field. I really felt like going into this matchup that you guys had the best player that was going to be on the field, especially on the offensive side of the ball, maybe on defense as well. I really felt like in a tight game, there's going to be one player that's going to make some plays. And man, he stepped up in some big time spots when it was tough early, but he found some holes and he found some receivers and they made some plays. It was special tonight.
Yeah, the kid just, I think I've said it earlier in the year when, somebody did a pre-year interview at the beginning of the year, and they asked about him coming back and what he brought, and the kid's just a competitor. He's just one of those kids that refuses to lose, and you have that as your leadership, especially in the position of quarterback. That's a huge boost for the team. We can ride him, and you have his energy and his effort and his playmaking the whole game. I mean, it's just not we need to stop this kid a play or two here. I mean, he brings it every play. he'll turn anything into a 60-yard touchdown, throwing the ball or running the ball. I think you saw that against, Princeton a couple weeks ago. The very first play of the game, he took a quarterback play around the edge for whatever it was, 60, 70, 80 yards, and it got called back. But I mean, that's that kid both any way you want to do it. Throwing the ball, he'll extend plays. He's a big, strong kid. He's a great athlete, but he's got a great arm. And I tell you what, I'm sure glad we're not game planning for him, because I wouldn't like that very much.
Mitch, what do you got on this? What do you got for Coach?
No, Coach, I think you kind of alluded to it. It was a real battle there in that first half. I think it was 7-6 was the halftime score. Then you guys just came out firing in the second half. Was there something that you said in that locker room? What was the mentality of the Rockets there at halftime going into the third quarter?
Well, honestly, the message to the guys was a little bit of butt chewing. We thought we were very, very sloppy at first, missing some assignments, especially up front. And we'll tell you, we put a lot of pressure and a lot of stress on the guys up front, and told them that this game was in their hands, that they were going to win this for us, or if we lost it, it was because of the mistakes we made up front. Because we watched a little bit of last year's film and showed them how bad we thought we played up front. And so we really challenged them. And again, I think that was it. It was, we drew a couple things up on the board, but there were no changes. It was basically like, you guys know what they're doing. And they might have pulled out some stunts or some things to try to trick us. But, once we were able to calm down and play some football, I think we were able to wear them down and really start taking over the line of scrimmage. And you're right, that was kind of the change in the game coming out of the second half, was being able to do that and lean on them and rely on them.
Hey, Coach, I got Kyle Kampmeyer here from NUICfootball.com. Obviously, I'm sure you're familiar with what they do up there. He's very familiar with this 1A, 2A, 3A field that, coming across this north bracket. So I'll let him jump in and ask you a question here.
Coach, obviously that was a huge win tonight against Newman. Obviously, you definitely shocked the state with the score separation, having a 3-touchdown win there. You got some big games coming up, especially the last half of the schedule there with Monmouth, Roseville, and Hall in weeks 8 and 9. Obviously, you don't want to look past Orion either. But how do you guys feel right now? You're sitting at 5-0, punching that ticket to the playoffs. The 2A field, especially in that north bracket, is going to look pretty good. Have you guys started to look at, what teams you might be looking at, or are you guys just still focused on that 1 week at a time view?
No, you know what? I'll be that boring coach talk guy with you, and we really focus on getting better. Again tonight we're gonna watch. We told the guys, celebrate. Of course, be smart about your celebration, but they deserved it tonight, putting in that hard work this week. But we're gonna go to film and right back on Monday, and I can guarantee it's not gonna feel like a win for us. We saw a lot of things on the huddle sideline there film. And there's going to be a lot of things to critique. There was a lot of sloppiness in the first half, drop balls, penalties, just, some things we can't have. So we're going to focus on us and getting better. I did see something that was kind of interesting, throwing out a nugget, is I did see in that first, they did like a playoff outlook. And in the very first one, I think they had to clear up to 316 or 18. We were only the second smallest team in 2A. And I was like, oh man, I didn't realize we were that close to that 1A, 2A bubble. But then it dropped throughout the week. Maybe they added some scores or whatever. And so I think we're, 6 or 8 teams into 2A. But at first I was like, holy cow, all these teams we never even consider or think about all of a sudden might be in play.
Well, that's just it. That line is sitting at about 310 right now, and you're at 322, so you're still not that far off.
Yeah, that'll be interesting come to the end of the year.
Yeah,
because I definitely don't like Wilmington sitting at 400 dropping down to 2A.
yeah, that's been a talking point for us for sure. But hey, Coach, we really appreciate it. Great win tonight. I really feel like this was going to be a defensive slugfest, and it was early, and you guys were able to find just enough just enough there, enough seams, enough playmakers to get the job done. It's an impressive win, so good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I don't mean to give too much, coach talk. We really are proud of the guys, and they put a great effort in. But we want them to, I try to lead that way for them, and that we can never be happy. Like we can't. Who cares? We celebrate this until Monday, but we better come to work, and we can't be happy with where we are. 5-0 doesn't mean anything in November. So we need to get better. We need to clean up some stuff, and we want the guys to have that blue pail come to work next week, and let's get after. We're not happy where we are. We want to get better.
Hey, Coach, before I let you go, I think if I saw things right, you tied the record for coaching wins at Rock Ridge High School tonight, tying head coach Rick Amy. So talk about, in your 2 stints here now at Rock Ridge, having a lot of success and kind of knowing the history of Rock Ridge High School. What's it mean to you? This is kind of a personal thing for you, right?
Yeah, honestly been lucky with a lot of great players. I've been very lucky. I just, honestly, you feel a little embarrassed because somebody with a name like Rick Amy, that he was a great leader. There were a lot of kids that looked up to him. He started the FCA huddle here at school. So he led the correct way, and kids looked up to him, and he was a mentor for so many young men around here. And I don't deserve to be in that same sentence with a guy like that. I really don't. You hear the names of some guys like that, like Rick Amy, and even looking at my dad, Steve Graves, is in the Hall of Fame, and one of the best coach I've ever been around in my life, and just had to grind and with average teams to take him to the playoffs every year, and just the best coach I've ever been around, and wasn't lucky with great players consistently. I swear if he was with a team like Rock Ridge, he'd have 3 or 4 state titles in the amount. I haven't had any. So, I really been super lucky with really good players and talent and kids willing to work and do what we ask. And again, I don't like hearing any of it, because I sure don't think I belong with those coaches that have meant so much to so many guys. You really, as you get older, and of course I got 2 girls in college now, and you reflect and you just hope you mean something to the guys you're coaching now that he meant to the guys that have kids in the program now. Like the guy's name on the computer, Chase. I know he was around with him, and just such a great guy, and how much he meant to them, and you hope that you mean that to these kids, and they look up to you, and you're doing the right things for them, because that's what it's all about. I don't care when I'm on my deathbed, hopefully 60 more years from now, it's not going to be about, hey, how many wins did you get as a football coach? It's those moments with your family. It's those kids that, want to come around you and give you a hug and invite you to their wedding, and send you a message about them having kids, and being there for them. So I appreciate the nice words and the people that have said congratulations around here to me, but I really kind of feel embarrassed about it, and I just hope I'm doing the right thing for everybody here.
Yeah. Coach, I've covered your teams for a long time, and I think that I appreciate your message, but you're building your own legacy for sure. And I think that you've had good players, but it's good coaching too, and you've put them in the right spots to succeed. So congratulations on this achievement, and, a lot more wins this season and down the road. Really, really appreciate your time tonight too.
Yeah, I appreciate those nice words, and thanks for having me. I know you guys are doing a great job, and it's really important for the local fan bases to see this. It honestly drives small school football, is this type of energy to put this out on a Friday night until, what are you guys there until midnight? I mean,
Yeah.
It's, so we appreciate that, and keeping the energy up for this small school football is a big deal.
Yeah.
Thank
Great.
you.
Yep, really appreciate it, Coach. Go join the Wheatley party now. That I know they're waiting for you. So
I tell you what, I know those jerks have probably eaten my tacos I started making. So those things better be there. So
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
thanks guys for having me.
Yep.
Thanks, Coach.
Bye-bye.
All right, so there we go. So, Mitch, we've heard from the TRAC. We've heard from the Western Big Six. We have the NUIC waiting on the line. We got to bring in head coach Sean Downey from the Stockton Blackhawks. Sean, can you hear me? Oh, we can't hear you. Oh, are you there?
It's a Jade Nord situation.
Oh, no.
I hope not.
Well, here, keep messing with it. We'll pull up the NUIC scoreboard here, and then we'll go from there. Let's pull up the scoreboard, Mitch. Give us the scores.
All right, here is our night in the NUIC, which I don't know why that font is so small. I'll have to change that. But let's start in Lena Winslow. Lena Winslow got the 47-6 win over Fulton. Big night for Alex Schlichting and his return back from a hamstring injury. You had Dakota picking up their first win of the year, a 58-36 win over Rockford Lutheran in that crossover matchup with the Big Northern. You had Dupac, the top of the conference there, 38-0 over EPC. Certainly got to get Kyle's thoughts on that. He was at this game, which was Forreston defeating Galena 22-20. And then the game here that we'll talk about with Coach Downey, hopefully Stockton, top-ranked team in 1A, defeating Morrison 60-20.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see if Coach Downey's going to jump back in with us. But Kyle, tell us a little bit about, the game you were at and the results you saw tonight.
Well, yeah, I mean, the game that we were at, I remember stating before halftime to Kyle Zick, former head coach of the Cardinals and current assistant principal as well. I told him, I said, Forreston really needs to score before half because it was a 0-0 game. They had got down to the 3-yard line. Galena punched them out and then was able to start moving the ball. A crucial catch on the Forreston sideline was ruled out of bounds by the official, but looking at the play, I can't remember. I think it was Mason Smith caught the ball. He definitely had a foot in. Either way, not going to blame officials on that, but that was a turnover on downs, gave Forreston momentum. They used that to then drive down the field to get that score before halftime to go up 8-0. Somewhere in the third quarter, they were able to get another touchdown to push that lead to 16-0. Galena came back, was able to get a touchdown there to bring it 16-6. And then Forreston made it 22-6. And then Galena just in the fourth quarter, man, they got a touchdown. They got the 2-point conversion, make it 22-14. As time expired, they score another touchdown. Mason Smith gets the touchdown catch. They go for 2, and I can't remember who it was that caught the ball, but a Galena player caught the ball in the end zone for what would have been the 2-point conversion. But as he fell, once he fell down, jarred the ball loose. Conversion was no good. Game ended 22-20 in favor of Forreston. We talked about it on several occasions. Forreston needed this win to help establish their playoff hopes because they got a couple big games coming up. They have EPC next week. And initially, when we were looking at all the stuff for the previews, I mean, this game was our game of the week. We were also looking at the fact that EPC would have beat Galena. That was the original projection. And this game would have been who would get into the playoffs. Now with Forreston winning that game, we have a good shot to get 6 teams into the playoffs from the NUIC, which is just crazy.
And there's Brian Stocking. Okay, let's see if we can pull up. Sean Downey, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Hey,
we
Yeah,
can
we
there we
hear
got
go.
you. Great. So, Coach,
All
thank you
right.
so much.
Good. I switched over to my cell phone.
Good. Well, hey, we appreciate the effort here, on the field and off the field here. But Coach, I guess overall you get the win tonight. But tell me about this team, kind of big picture. There was a lot of expectations coming into the year, but man, you know how it goes. The kids got to perform, and you got to put them in the right positions to execute. So far, so good. What have you seen? What have you liked about? You had a good group, but maybe have they impressed you more than even you thought going in?
Well, I think it goes all the way back to last November, December, and the expectations that we put on the kids as a coaching staff, and expectations we put on the kids to be in the weight room, consistently all winter, and the training that we do, and they bought into it, and I think some of the expectations are a result of the work that they put in.
Yeah, great. Mitch, Mitch, what do you got for Sean here?
No, it's kind of like what Greg said, Coach. You had all the expectations that this was the year that Stockton was going to have all the right pieces in all the right places, and you're going to make a run at the NUIC. You have answered the bell every game so far through 5 weeks. Still some tough games left on your schedule. What do you have to do to keep that mentality for the next 4 weeks and to really head into what's going to be a really tough 1A North bracket?
Nope, you're on mute, Sean.
Sorry about that. Am I good
There we
now?
go.
Yep.
Yep.
You're good.
Yeah. Yeah. If you go back a couple weeks that, everybody told us, not everybody, but, we heard out there, you guys played perfect against Lena Winslow. And if you were in our film room on the following Monday, I don't think that anyone would say that we had played a perfect game. We still made plenty of mistakes. We're still making mistakes right now that we're working on correcting. We're not satisfied. That's for sure. But the kids are working. We're still practicing hard every day, and you know, if our goals are as high as everybody, we say we want them to be, we've got a lot of work to do here in the regular season, and it starts next week with Galena for sure.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about, the prep for Galena. They fall short tonight in a game against Forreston, but man, this we know the NUIC is a grinder every week. Galena's still a really good football team despite falling short tonight. How do you prep your players every week to get up for the next, next opponent, the next big matchup?
Well, yeah, and if you're not from Stockton or Galena, the Stockton-Galena rivalry is something that it's hard to put into words. There's games throughout the past decades where teams that had no business, upsetting the other team has done. And it's happened throughout history. It's happened multiple times. You can throw the records right out the window when you play each other. And it's a rivalry game. Our kids are excited for it already. They're a great team. I don't know, rankings and all that stuff, but the athletes they've got super athletes, and Coach Knight up there's done an awesome job, with his first year, and kind of adding in some new stuff. They've been fun to watch, so it should be a fun one next week for sure.
Yeah. Kyle, what else you got for Coach here?
Well, Sean, you went back to talking about how, you didn't think you played a perfect game against Lena Winslow, but let's be honest, you guys did have a perfect game plan against Lena Winslow. One of the questions I'm constantly fielding, which you may have seen throughout social media or whatnot if you pay any attention to it, is Stockton for real? And my answer is absolutely yes, they're for real. We knew that you guys were going to be here. I think people are still stunned by that big win over Lena Winslow, even though that's already 3 weeks behind us now. You guys continue to put up big score after big score week in and week out. On top of that, I even put out on Twitter last week, I said, if you're not watching Stockton, you're not paying enough attention to Class 1A football. And you have a gauntlet of a schedule ahead of you. Like you said, you got a big rivalry game this week with Galena. But then you have EPC, Dupec, and Forston to finish out your regular season. Obviously, hiccups could happen, but how are you going to go about keeping these guys focused and keeping the eye on the prize here?
Well, I guess the good thing about having 17 seniors is, they've kind of been through the wars a little bit. We kind of have taken the ups and downs over the last couple years, and the players are kind of settling into what we expect of them as coaches, and their preparation and how we want them to prepare with film study and weightlifting throughout the week and all that stuff. So I would say at year 3 in the program, we're starting to get some familiarity with they are with our expectations, and we can kind of read them and that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, it's just the later you go with competing in big games, the bigger the games get, and it's easy to have focus in those big games. And we've done what we needed to do to this point, but now we've got to ratchet it up a couple levels. That's for sure.
So you talk about your seniors. How are they helping to lead your younger guys? And then how proud of you are you of this group of guys that's leading the way for the Blackhawks?
Well, yeah, I mean, this group of seniors, when they were sophomores, and we kind of had to throw them into the fire because 2 years ago we had, I think, 6 seniors and 11 or 12 varsity players total. And then last year we only had 2 seniors, so these guys have played a ton of football for us. So, I'm just happy to see their hard work, pay dividends, because I'm telling you, for the last 3 years, these guys have just busted their butt in the weight room. And Coach Randy and Coach Riley Ashe, the job they do, with our weightlifting programming, and then their gym in Pearl City, they just to watch these kids kind of transform. It's really cool to see.
Hey, Coach, we really appreciate you jumping on and hanging out with us tonight. And great success so far. Good luck the rest of the way. Mitch is a big Stockton guy. Did I tell you I got him a Stockton Blackhawks hoodie earlier this season. He's that excited. So
you did, yeah. I somebody had shown me a clip of it earlier that he wanted a shirt. I got a shirt here for him. I got to get to Kyle. So
there we go. Look at that. Well, hey,
yep.
Coach. Here's the thing: you keep playing well, and you can give it to me in Bloomington. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, that would be fun. I got an email from, I don't know, some sports store, but one of the shirts that said, it was just a great T-shirt, but it said Stockton football against the world. So I thought that was a pretty cool T-shirt.
Excellent.
Hey, Coach, good luck the rest of the way. We really appreciate you jumping in.
Okay, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep. All right. We're going to have some fun here. We're going back to the Three Rivers Athletic Conference. We got 2 athletic directors on the line here. We have Justin Stevenson from Newman, and we have Brock Baynard from Rock Ridge. And Justin, do you want to introduce the bet here? Because you were the one who laid it on the line on social media. We'll start with you.
Yep. I'm eating my words now. I'm eating crow here. Here we go. But no, this weekend I'm sitting at home and I'm like, we're state ranked. Rock Ridge is state ranked. What can we do to promote this game a little more? How can we get it out there so that everybody in the state knows that 2 really good football programs are playing against each other this weekend, and make it as big as we can for the kids. So I go out on social media and make a post to on our Newman social media and make a post to Brock, who I knew would totally be game for something like this, saying if Newman wins, he's got to wear a Newman jersey to work on Monday, and if Rockridge wins, I'll wear a Rockridge jersey to work on Monday.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, so Brock, I bring you in now as the athletic director of Rock Ridge, and you got to be feeling pretty good about this whole deal now.
Yeah, I thought it was a great idea. I mean, most people didn't know that I knew about it. It was coming ahead of time, but it did a great job of, kind of hyping up the game. Our kids got into it a little bit, and really was what small school sports should be about. And obviously, I was really glad I didn't have to put the jersey on after the game tonight. But props to Justin for putting it on there at midfield. I think our kids put a little peer pressure on, but just add a little fun to what was already a great atmosphere and a good game.
Yeah. Justin, do you have the jersey there with you?
I do.
Uh-oh. I mean,
I don't know why you're not wearing it.
I might.
It matches your hat a little better there, Mitch. I don't know.
You send me a new one hat, I'll wear it.
Mitch is very buyable. That's the rule we've learned, So.
Yeah, there's no limit to how low I'll go.
So, Brock, are you gonna make him put it on the show right now?
I'll leave that up to him. I think it's probably a little tight, just looking at where he put it on earlier. So he might be a little comfortable in that, but I have every faith that he'll follow through with it on Monday.
Yeah, but Justin,
my 8-year-old is going to be really disappointed because when I left the house today, he was certain that I was not coming home with a Newman jersey, and now here we are. So,
well. Justin, talk a little bit about overall, though, just kind of building up the hype and the excitement around small school football. I feel like, the farther we get into things and, sometimes with the newspaper coverage is kind of hit or miss, and that's no fault of local journalism. It's bigger corporations and we don't need to get down that road. But I think ultimately something like this on social media, that's what kind of can drive the excitement now, moving forward. And I think, do you agree? And I give you credit for kind of putting yourself out there, and both of you guys for kind of stepping up and doing something fun like this.
Yeah. You watch the news and you're watching, stuff about officials were treated negatively this way at this game, or we've got new policies at our stadium because people can't behave inside of the lines. And so this is all in good fun. And this is what, in my opinion, this is what rivalries should look like in high school athletics. It's all good natured. We want to grow the game. We want to make the game exciting for everybody. And so if this is what I got to do to help, I'm a shameless guy. So if the worst thing I have to do is throw on another school's jersey to help hype up a game, I'm all for it. Let's have a little fun.
Yeah. No, Justin, I really appreciate it. Brock, on your end, I want to ask a little bit about the environment tonight. Rock Ridge program over the years has delivered some great teams. Tonight felt like one of those really special nights where there was a lot of people there. And man, especially at the end of that second quarter, when Rock Ridge scored in their corner of the end zone and the youth teams were all down in that corner, and I think your band was down there. The cheerleaders are down near that end. I was down there getting video, and it got so loud when Cullen Schweigen scored that touchdown. That's one of those moments where, man, this is high school football, and this is small school football at its very best.
Absolutely. I was right down there, too, and I was really glad I'm not an elementary teacher when I was down there. Those kids were deafening. But, I've had the same feeling down there that this is why we did this. This is what it's all about. And it happened kind of with that perfect storm with youth night going on, our band being right there. But it was a great atmosphere. Justin and I actually were standing right next to each other as all that was happening. So really a fun night and great atmosphere there. I've only been here 2 years now, and I've just been so impressed with the support we get and the amount of community that comes out to support us in this small school environment.
Yeah. Well, Brock, I really appreciate you taking the time, and I'm happy for you. Glad you ended up on the the better end of the deal here. So we'll be watching the pictures, Justin. I also appreciate you putting yourself out there. I think this is great for small school football. It's amazing. I appreciate both you guys. It's a lot of fun.
I didn't really expect it to be what it was. I just thought it was going to be a little thing here just to hype it up a little bit. And then I think it was my business manager come into my office the other day and she goes, "Hey, did you realize that between Facebook and Twitter, that video you posted has 37,000 views?" And I'm like, I guess I didn't expect that to happen, but that's great for the Rock Ridge community. That's great for the Newman community. And I know, it was not a fun night tonight for us in the Newman world, but I know Coach LeMay will have the kids ready to go next week.
Yeah. Hey, never underestimate the power of Mitch Stormer seeing something you put on X and retweeting it and getting that message out there. So yeah. Oh, well, thank you, Justin, and thank you, Brock. I really appreciate both you guys for jumping in. This was a ton of fun. This is what it's all about. This is the fun stuff. So I'm glad you guys are both great sports. It was a great atmosphere tonight for sure.
Hey, we appreciate all you do.
Yep.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we got another coach here on the line. I believe from the from the TRAC. Is Coach Derek's on the horn here?
Yep, here we are.
Hey, there we go.
He is.
Hey, I'm not even going to waste any time asking you
a Relax.
question. I'm not going to waste any time asking you a question because we got Brian Stocking on the line, proud Riverdale Ram. Are you guys going to sing the fight song together here?
Not yet. We still have a little bit more work to do before our stockpile is going to shave his head.
Oh, that's right.
That's not happening. The hair stays.
Hey, at some point, you just got to let it go, Brian. At some point, you just have to accept it.
I have to keep my hair just to pull it out while I'm watching my Cowboys get waxed by the Bears on every week, it seems.
Yep. Well, hey, Stock, I'll let you ask the first question to Coach Derek's. Your guy leading the way here for your proud Riverdale Rams. They get another win tonight.
Coach C, you guys went up 21-0. What did you guys see on Orion's defense that allowed you to take such a huge early lead and give you control of the game?
We thought that we had an advantage in the box. We had our kids were a little bit bigger. I know that Coach Filler's kind of been going through some things lately, and the kids are working. I mean, they work hard and do that, but obviously, kind of size, gave us that little bit of advantage in the box, and so we were able to. Come out to them, credit to them that they did a great job defensively, and they threw a lot of guys in there, and it was hard to block them at times, and their backside linebackers did a great job of reading and scraping and making some plays, but we felt like there was some definitely advantage of the box and able to just kind of slow it down and do what we do and allow those guys to do some great things. So, just kind of kept plugging along and running the ball and able to take advantage of that early on.
Mitch, what do you got for Coach Derek's here?
Coach, you're sitting at 4-1. You just kind of mentioned that Stocking's talking and he's on mute. That's hilarious.
You go ahead.
Anyway, Coach Derek's, you're 4-1. And we've talked on our show before how we've just been so impressed with where this program has had to come back from, right? Having taken some time off to field an 11-man team, and now you're back, and now you're playing as better as I can remember, and now you're staring one win away from qualifying for the playoffs. What has this journey for you as a coach meant? You've stuck through it, right, from the bottom, and now you're on the verge of knocking on the playoffs. What does this mean to you and to this program?
It's awesome. Anybody who's been in this business, for a while, it's one of those things that you live in the high school world, those ebbs and flows, ups and downs, and you ride those waves. And so, there's been great teams in the past. There's great kids, there's great individuals, and that trick is to continue to build off of that and move forward and hopefully try and establish, the programs and something that kids want to be a part of. And so, the opportunities that we've had in the past, we've been close, and then, a worldwide pandemic kind of derailed some of that stuff that we're moving forward to. And so, each year, there's a lot of great kids that have moved our program forward, but now kind of putting some different things together. And I will give all the credit to our community. I mean, we were faced with a dilemma. We came together, we met, we discussed it, we problem solved, and they bought in, and they did it right. I mean, it's not like some magical potion that we did some Michael Secret stuff from Space Jam or anything like that. It just just that opportunity and restructuring and getting to those kids to understand those things that we need to do in order to get better and get to that point.
Well, I'm gonna go to Dazzo on this because Dazzo, you were at this game tonight. What did you see tonight in this game? And I guess give me your thoughts on tonight. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Say it. Expert opinion. You need my expert opinion. Say it. I know that's
Yes.
what you're looking for. So
I need you to elevate
first
this
and
show
foremost,
for us.
congratulations, Coach. Coach and I were like, we were planning on. He invited me over to his house, and then he ghosted me. And I couldn't find him, and I felt like I was in. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But obviously a great game, and Coach, congratulations. I will get those beer or two from you one of these days soon. Guys, they ran the football 401 yards on the ground. And we know the guys and the carries and the yardage and all that stuff. Kane Beckett had 4 touchdowns. Heinsohn was really good on the ground as well. But it's those big guys up front that really were impressive. Kind of talk about those guys, Coach, because we hear the names and the glory goes to those running backs and everything, but those guys up front did.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing, is that those pretty guys get their faces, in the paper and they get interviewed, but really from the beginning, that group of seniors between those kids, our tackles, our guards, we had a couple all conference guards last year. But really between Carter Orr at center, our 2 guards this week, Marcus Bennett and Jackson Fritz, there can't be enough great things said about them. They're all conference last year, and they do just an absolute great job of establishing that line of scrimmage. And I mean, we take pride in that, punishing that different team. And, that's one of the things we look at. Okay, who on the other defensive line is, maybe struggling a little bit because they're getting punished. Our offensive tackles and Jake Shredea, Bo Ziegler stepped in this week. Gavin Geese has been a great leader for us on the offensive line throughout the course of the year. And so those guys do a great job of establishing a new line of scrimmage, of being physical, and, continuing to work to push that line back a little bit to give our skill guys some room to run.
Coach, I do got to ask you, and this is probably from John Marks as well. It's 21-0, and you guys get a fumble, got it deep in your own territory or in their territory, and you went to the air. And we both looked at each other with this was going to be 28-0, and not questioning your greatness, but and there's more from Johnny Marks than me because I would never. But getting away from what was working, just thoughts on that, and it worked out in the long run, but interesting decision.
Yeah, I mean, I am a by trade. I've been coaching here been coaching for 18 years. The forward pass from some of my teams have been a little bit interesting in the past. Our coaches in the past, Tom McCleary, a few years ago, I gave him 5 tickets a game when he was my offensive coordinator. When I was at Louisa Muscatine, we completed 5 passes all year, and they were by 4 different quarterbacks.
I remember
and we made playoffs that year. And so, I used to give them tickets and doing that. Now that I'm offensive coordinator, anything's on the table,
Yeah.
So I think get a little greedy, get to that point. But really trying to strike that dagger, or what that looks like, quick strike. And so, I'm learning. I'm trying to, kind of find that point, but, wanting to, understanding that game and continuing to press that envelope a little bit. So, as a coaching staff, we thought it was a good call. Other people on the headset just wanted to pound it, and you win some, you lose some, as far as calls go. And so you gotta, that's why you play the game. And there's 150 plays in that game. So, you know what? Our defense did a good job of, holding a little bit, keeping us in that thing. And so we were able to, come back out next time. I learned from my mistake and, keep running that ball and running that clock.
No, and before I let you go, my last one is after the game, obviously with MC22 with John Marks and there were some emotions and you looked at the fireworks and the place was packed and I saw you throwing kids around and all those kind of things. Can you talk about the emotion there? Because it's been a journey and Mitch kind of talked about it for a second, but it had been a journey for you guys. And I know it's more work to be done. I get all that, but this is pretty special tonight with homecoming and the things that happened tonight, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it's hard to kind of keep those raw emotions in check, and I'm an emotional guy. I'm gonna tell the kids, when they do something wrong, I'll be the first person that's gonna tell them that they do something wrong. When they do something right, I'm gonna be the first one there, give them a high five, a hug, and tell them those things. And it's about life, and so I want those kids to know and understand that. And but to be there and be in that moment and it means not saying maybe it's right or wrong, right? But like being an alumni for myself too, I think it means a little bit more. And to be just take one more step forward and be a part of this journey that we have. It's been 10 years now that I've been here, and riding those ships at different programs and having to be at this point now at a program that I've cared so much about for a long time and dreamt about, is definitely a goal and one step forward in that process and that journey that a goal that we have all set. So I'm excited.
I love it, Coach. Congrats.
Yeah. Coach, kind of piggyback off that, Mitch and I talked about it on our show, or I think we might have talked about it last week on the Instant REAX. I always felt like you going to Riverdale football games, home games over the years, like the band was there, the parents, the families, the community was there, and it was just like, sometimes the football on the field didn't quite match up. So how does it feel to you? And that's no slight. It's no slight to anybody, right? But how does it feel to you to now to like bring that energy, right? To know that you got some playmakers on the field and you guys are going to get some things done. And it's fun to kind of like the community was itching for it. It always has been, right?
Oh, absolutely. The thing I want to remind you of, right? I mean, you're an Ottawa Marquette
Oh,
guy,
here we
all right?
go.
So
Here we go.
here's the deal. Like, it. And when my brother-in-law and I get going, we have some conversations because we graduated, the same year. And we have to go back and I have to remind him and pull out the archives from IHSA back in the early 2000s that, Ottawa Marquette and Riverdale have some good battles, but the Riverdale, the Derrick's family over the Bretag family, had a little bit more in the win column.
I
So
forgot you have Marquette family in you have Marquette relations now, right?
that's right. Yes, and unfortunately, slash fortunately, I'll give it to him. He puts up with my sister, so I've got to give that respect to him. But yeah, just kind of one of those opportunities, and I mean, just building off of all of that, it's there's been this program and community has been hungry for it for a long time, and so it's just putting all that together, right? I mean, there's been great kids, there's been great coaches, there's been great opportunities. It's just tying all that stuff together. There's been great athletes and programs and throughout the Riverdale district, and so just being a part of that, trying to tie that together. And like I said, I feel like I've had those opportunities, which means that it means a little bit more, honestly, to be at this point finally, and be so close over the course, 4 and 5, a couple different times at Riverdale in the past years, and so I'm just excited about this opportunity.
Yeah.
So
Coach, I will say, like, it's not that far removed that Marquette was, like, as you just alluded to, Marquette was very, very irrelevant, right? And so I get it. Like, I know, and I appreciate the journey to what it takes to get there. So I love what you're doing. I love the program, and Hey, I miss seeing you at Bettendorf Parks and Rec soccer on Sunday afternoons. It's been a few years since we've run into each other out there.
It has, all over the Quad Cities, 7-on-7. It's kind of funny how all those circles, intertwine. My youngest is last year played a 7-on-7 out at Bettendorf Parks and Rec, and he did some. He's 6 years old or 7 now. Sorry, but we did some 7-on-7, and we show up the first game. There are only 2 teams, and my cousin was the coach of the other team, who I coach with, and we didn't know that leading into it, and so it just. We were able to kind of do some things, but yeah, it's always fun how, as a coach, and in the community, it's a small circle, and things just continue to intertwine.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody else got anything for Coach Derricks? Going once, going twice. Stock. Come
Coach,
on,
congrats. Well done, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you for the stats that you gave me. Can you talk a little bit about Kane Beckett's big night, 4 touchdowns?
Yeah, we were kind of talking just a few minutes ago, but Kane and Gage both. I think Gage had 21 carries for 177 yards, and Kane had 19 carries for 177 yards. So they do a great job of thunder and lightning, and kind of building off of each other and doing a great job. And any night, either one of those guys can go off. You throw Jackson Tegler in the mix, and he's on the outside, and so throwing it, finding creative ways to get him the ball. It just, tonight was Kane's night. Wanted to keep that clock running and having those opportunities, and either one of those guys, they're special guys that have worked hard, that have been a part of this program for a long time, and just want to keep building off of that and encourage them and again, thanks to Line, thanks to everybody else for working hard.
Yeah. Well, this was great. Coach, I appreciate you sticking around and, hanging out. And look at Brian Stocking pumping his fists. He's excited over here. I love it.
Brian Stocking looks like Buddy the Elf when he saw Santa on the movie. Like looks like it's like, oh, Guy Derricks is here. I love him. I love Guy Derricks.
Stock.
I know him.
Show your Riverdale ring, Stock. Show it off. There it is. Full screen right there. There it is.
There you go. Hey, real quick, I do want to give a shout out to, the Alderman program, and I don't want to end this on a crazy night, but shout out to the Alderman program, Coach Barber, what he's doing over there, but want to send thoughts and prayers to what happened over there, and hopefully things are up and up for that family and stuff like that too. So
yeah,
well said,
I heard
Coach. Well
there
said.
was an injury, that ended up ending the game. So yeah, certainly we're hoping for the best in all that situation. I didn't know much about it. I'm sure I'll learn more, but yeah, you're right.
Yep. Yeah.
So
all right. Well, hey, thanks. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thanks,
we
Coach.
really appreciate
Enjoy
you
it, Coach.
on,
We'll talk to you soon.
Yep, we'll see ya.
So there we are. This has been a loaded show. Let's get to the grid view here. Look at this. Look at all of us. Here we are. Matt Randazzo, welcome to the show. It's been wild.
Guys, you guys are killing it. I'm sitting here listening to the show on the way home, and it's like it's Morrissey's on there. I'm driving, and I'm like, he sounds like handsome and dreamy. That's got to be Mike Morrissey, and it was. And that's an impressive victory. And so the Western Big Six was crazy. I heard Mitch mention, I'm just trying to go through the Geneseo game itself and how crazy that was. I do want to give maybe a quick update. I don't have it to the young man at Alaman. I know the name. I don't say the name because I don't know who knows what and all that kind of stuff. But it was 50 minutes of a delay with the ambulance on. I've heard head area. So obviously our thoughts are going to go out to him and his family and the Alaman community and all of that. So hopefully everything will be fine with that. And when anybody finds out anything, obviously we'll pass it along. But I know a lot of people have been texting me with certain things. In fact, there's another one. So and not things, but just with thoughts and prayers and all that kind of stuff and concerns. So hopefully everything goes well with that. But you guys, I mean, honestly, have been rocking and rolling. I do have to respond to like Monmouth Roseville. See, that's why I don't like giving picks with you dummies, because it just leaves me out there to get. I had text messages from Monmouth Roseville. I was trying to play, and Greg will appreciate this. I wanted to go heel. I wanted to go 1 week, go heel. Like it was a heel turn. Like it was like John Cena going heel. Like everybody loves Dazzo. You get them off the air. Everybody loves Dazzo. Like I did that just for 1 week. I'll be back with them next week as well. So it was a blast. Really great show so far, guys, and we still got a bunch to talk about.
Yeah, Stock, I want to get your thoughts. Just give me your thoughts on week 5. Dazzo said it was the best week of the season so far. Mitch and I thought maybe week 2 was really good, but this lived up to the hype. This is pretty good.
I would probably say week 2 was a little bit better because when you look at the scores of the games that were last week when we talked, we said that this was championship week, and we talked about main events, and I said, well, there's also very good undercards. A lot of the main events tonight were pretty one-sided. Moline's 39-0 win over Quincy, which no one saw coming.
Katie showed up, Stock.
Katie was there. Katie made a very late appearance in the second half because it was 17-0 at half, and Katie came in. It was 39-0 at the end. Give us
a good Katie bar the door.
Katie barred the door quickly. I don't think anyone saw that. Rockridge beat Newman by 20. Monmouth Roseville, absolutely. Katie barred the door on Princeton around halftime. There were a lot of blowouts tonight of the main events. The undercards were pretty good. Geneseo UT, which I said was an undercard, was maybe one of the games of the year, especially that ending where they convert a 4th down, then they convert the touchdown. And UT was down like 2 scores before that. They fought back, and Geneseo scored at the end. You had A-Town almost upsetting Princeville. Very game effort by A-Town. They led that game 20-14 late into the 4th quarter when Princeville finally pushed across the winning touchdown. Game effort by A-Town. Riverdale Orion, that game was a track meet. The 42 points by Riverdale is the most they have scored at home in that series since moving to Ramfield at the REAC. They scored 64 the last time they met at Dorrance Park in 1970, which was Riverdale's last game at Dorrance Park. This was the most at Ramfield at the REAC by Riverdale. So a very big effort by Riverdale.
Mitch, did you know that?
I'm still trying to remember when this conversation happened where we talked about main events and undercards. Was I not a part of that, or was I not listening?
That was last week.
Nah, wasn't listening. Was not listening.
I will say...
paraphrasing, guys.
Dazzo, Stock got very WWE there and really was talking like wrestling terminology.
I watched Saturday Night's main event as a kid growing up. Who did it? Hulkamania running wild.
Amen, brother.
If you rip your shirt down the middle right now and start doing this, man alive, I'm telling you.
We will be off the air by the FCC.
No.
If that happens.
Stock, we can hear. You don't have to come into the mic. You go right into the camera. You can stand back. Yeah, there it is. There it is. You're a handsome fella, but
not Mike Morrissey style. I'll tell you.
All right.
Well,
so you just dropped some real stockpile knowledge there with what Doran Field. Wow.
Dorrance Park.
All right. What other stockpile gold? Maybe fool's gold. We'll determine that in a minute. What else you got for us?
Oh, let's see here.
I can't wait.
I know.
You know that tonight's game, Almond's game tonight at UT.
It's Alleman, not Almond.
That's
it's
what
Alleman.
Was the first time the Pioneers had played a home game at the Soul Bowl since April of 2021.
Okay.
That's just like 4 years ago.
That's not that, yeah.
And they didn't play. They didn't play for 2 of those years.
Well,
So it's like
it was still at the Soul Bowl. Usually, you would think that the Pioneers would play at either at Public School Stadium or at Browning Field.
It's all about the Soul Bowl. All right, what
I
else
thought you
you
were going
got?
to say since like 01.
Hall has won
But-
3 games in a row for the first time since 2019, and Amboy, who won tonight big over Galva, 16-1 of their last 17 regular season road games.
There we go.
And Stark County, 23-1 of their last 24 regular season games.
Yes. Actually, Stock, that's a good pivot point. I want to get into the LLC. So Mitch,
if you go to I've got a stat of the night, I think.
Yes.
That I just that we were just given. So if you just pull up the scores, I'll throw it in.
All right, here we go. You want LLC small?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. And here we go.
All right, LLC small tonight. Stocking made mention to it. Really good game between Princeville and A-Town. Princeville comes away with the win, 21-20. You had South Fulton defeating LVC 49-0. Stark County moves to 5-0. They get the win over Monmouth United 49-22. Havana picks up the 28-0 win over Rova Williamsfield. And the big crossover game here, Anawan Weathersfield defeats Rushville Industry 35-14. Your stat of the night, Anawan Weathersfield rushes for 465 yards.
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay.
460
Take that, put in your
for Anawan Weathersfield.
Oh.
They've already that offensive line has already earned themselves 2 pizzas earlier this year, thanks to our friends at Godfathers and Silvis. But man, that's hard to ignore.
460.
Well done.
That's
so
hard
now
to
you
ignore.
now you have Stark County and Anawan Weathersfield meeting up next week, and they're both 5-0.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dezzo.
So offensive line of the week. I mean, Riverdale. Maybe a thought process. 401 yards. And I will mention this before the game. The fine people at MC22 supplied Godfather's Pizza for us.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Love it. Big fan of Andy and Godfather's Pizza and Silvis.
So let me swing this back to Kyle.
People.
Let me swing the Anawan Weathersfield Rushville Industry game back to Kyle, because those are 2 playoff teams, certainly. Anawan Weathersfield being 1, Rushville Industry being in 2. With you had mentioned, Kyle, that your model had Rushville Industry being the favorite in this game. And Anawan Weathersfield really made a statement, I think. What do you see? And I know how you act about the LLC, but Anawan Weathersfield sitting here at 5-0. Impressive win tonight. They'll be in the 1A North. Just kind of adds one more great team into that bracket.
Yeah, no, it does. I mean, I'm really excited about Anawan Weathersfield. I've been on the Titan train all season long. That was a big statement win over Rushville Industry. I've been a little rough on Rushville Industry. I just, they're part of that is simply because they just don't have a lot of playoff success once they get there. We've seen great teams from them fail in the first round of the playoffs. And, I had a lot of people talking to me to be watching out for Rushville Industry this year. And I just, this game further validates what I thought about them going into the year. And it doesn't mean that stuff can't happen. They return a great group of players this year. But Anawan Weathersfield really turned it on tonight. And, that's huge. It really is.
465 rushing yards.
Yeah. I think for me and for Mitch and I think looking at what Anawan Weathersfield's schedule had been up to this point, this was kind of one of those tests, right? They're going to get more of them. There's more tests coming. But Mitch, don't you think we were kind of waiting to see what Anawan Weathersfield would look like against some of the teams that we thought were going to be there. It's a big response to that question.
It's a start to the answer to that
Okay,
question.
that's fair.
We're gonna save the crystal ball for this week because I think our show this week is gonna be a lot of fun when we start looking ahead. But Annawan Wethersfield has Stark County next week, as I mentioned, undefeated there. That could determine this conference. Then they've got Princeville after that. So there is still work to be done for the Titans, but boy, I think they set the tone at least this week.
Yeah.
So the model I was looking at, Rushville was a 1-point favorite over Annawan going into tonight's game. And Annawan Wethersfield's opponent's record was 2-14 going into tonight's game. So there was a lot of reason to, like you said, this was a big win that Annawan Wethersfield needed, and they brought it out in a huge fashion as well.
Yeah, this was an impressive. They needed, I think, if Annawan Wethersfield is going to be considered someone down the road that we're going to be looking at, they needed to win this one, and they got the job done. And so I think, Mitch, do they play Stark County next week? So it's Stark County and Annawan Wethersfield next week. Wow.
Yep.
Yep. That's a huge matchup, because I think, man, I wish I texted Jade Nord earlier today. I wish we could have got him on the show tonight, but from what they were coming with into this season to be 5-0, I think is a fantastic start. There were so many questions for Stark County because they lost nearly everybody from last year.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ben Browning at quarterback. Connor Dahm has done so much for this
Dahm's
team.
been so good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that, Stark County is proving to be a team to watch for, and I'm interested next week to see that matchup between Annawan Wethersfield and Stark County. That's going to be great. Mitch, do you want to hit the scoreboard for the LLC large side of things? All right, let's bring that one up. There we go.
Okay, on the large side, you had West Hancock getting the big win, 18-14 over Illini West. Elmwood Brimfield defeated Brill Valley 38-22. You had Farmington. This game was not as close as that score indicates. 54-23 was the final there. We mentioned the South Fulton 49-0 crossover win over LVC, and Macomb gets the out of conference win 41-36 over Breeze Mater Dei.
Yeah, I really like what I'm seeing out of Macomb, and that matchup is at Farmington next week.
That's next week.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to see that matchup.
Farmington freshman quarterback Carson Noy had 5 touchdowns tonight.
Man,
Jack
remarkable.
Jack Gronwald had 3. I think he had a passing touchdown tonight too. So Gronwald was all over the place. Yes, Macomb and Farmington is next week.
Man, that is going to be that's the game, right? I think that's the game that decides the LLC large.
For sure. And Kyle, I'll bring you back in. Last year, I tried to sell you on this, and I was met with opposition. I think Farmington can get through 2A North.
That's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Wilmington is a very heavy favorite, but the Farmers did prove last year that they were definitely a team to be reckoned with. And Coach Vallis has definitely brought them to a different level. And right now, what they're doing is just thumping people left and right. I'll agree with you that the Farmers are definitely a threat in 2A North.
Yeah.
They at some point, either Wilmington or Farmington would have to see Rock Ridge too. It could be Farmington and Rock Ridge again this year. So we talk one.
Yeah, Rock Ridge really stands out to me after tonight's win.
Yeah,
we talk about 1A North all the time for a very good reason, but that 2A North continues to be sneaky good every year.
Yeah.
Well, we picked it to be a good battle this year because of so many unknowns this year. We really, when you took a look at it, before we thought Wilmington was going to fall into the 2A North bracket, you know, we were talking about Tri-Valley and Maroa Forsyth being top 2 and everybody else below them. And Farmington, I think, was at number 3 at that point too. And we were like, man, there's just so many things. We don't know which direction it's going to go, which makes it vulnerable, but at the same time, very fun and interesting. But as we're starting to see 2A play on, the strength of the Class 2A field is actually starting to rise up with it. So yeah, 2A is going to be a lot of fun. It really is.
Let's talk about 3A real quick, and then Dazzo, I'll bring you in, and we'll talk getting into the Western Big Six and moving, into the track and stuff. But Kyle, I want to ask you about, so Dupec gets another big win tonight. I mean, they're going to end up in 3A. How do you feel about them this year in 3A? Because, I think the last few years we knew the talent that was coming through, because I think we knew the Hoffman brothers, right? Year in and year out, were going to be productive offensive weapons. Now this year, all of a sudden, I give credit to this Dupec staff and the players and Coach Demas, and they're right there. They're right in the conversation. What can they do in 3A?
3A North's going to be tough because you have a regular 4A team in Richmond Burton that's going to fall into that field. We don't know which direction Bloomington Central Catholic is going to go because they're sitting right at the north-south split line, and they're sitting at 5-0 right now, and they play in an always tough Illini Prairie Conference. You're going to have Coach Adolphson's Monmouth Roseville team there. They just had another statement win over Princeton again, which we've talked a lot about them beating Princeton last year. And of course, with what Princeton has done since the 2017 season in the 3A playoffs as well. You're going to have another team coming out of the Chicago Catholic League. 2 of them, actually. Actually, I'm sorry. You're going to have one. IC Catholic. Right now, they're the 18th highest rated team across the entire state of Illinois. And right behind them is Byron. And if you want my honest take about 3A North, it's IC Catholic and Byron, and you got to get through those 2 teams.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. When you're looking down the list, I love 1A, and I'm also really intrigued by 3A, and obviously we talked about what 2A has as well, but yeah, I think you're right. I think Byron and IC Catholic in 3A, right? Those are the heavy hitters. Those are the guys you got to get through.
Well, let's not forget either that IC Catholic just played Nazareth last week to a 24-21 game, and Naz is one of the top 10 teams across the entire state.
Yeah. So IC Catholic will be in 3A, no doubt. That's pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're sitting at 531.3, and the projected cut line at this moment's at 600.
Yeah.
Forreston winning tonight will almost put them into the playoff field. If EPC can beat Forreston next week, and we get those 6 teams out of the NUIC into the playoffs, then you're looking at that cut line for 3A coming down a spot. But it's only going to be like 596, I think, is the next team down.
Yeah.
So yeah, IC Catholic's going to be pretty comfortable into the 3A field this year.
I love the NUIC wreaking havoc amongst the brackets because that's exactly what's happening there. So, all right, let's bring in Matt Randazzo. How are you? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, boys. It's been a lot to A lot to digest tonight. A lot of crazy stuff. A lot as we watch Stockpile chew away. A lot to digest tonight. What are we eating, Stock? Uh-oh.
Oh, he's muted. Hold on. What are you eating, Stock?
A pork chop sandwich off the grill.
Oh, I'm so jealous of that. Ooh. I would love that right now. Just bring one over to my house. It's fine. I'll be here.
Craig, we have not gone over Big Northern yet.
Delicious.
Oh, okay. Dazzo, can we hit a pause, go over Big Northern, then get back to your thoughts?
Love it. Absolutely. All
right.
Stockpile, mute. You sound like you're in a hangar somewhere.
All right, there we go, Mitch.
I do too. Stop it.
Here's the Big Northern scores. Give us what we need to know.
Big Northern tonight. Byron continues to roll 55-7 over Winnebago. You had Dixon with a 56-0 win over Oregon. Genoa Kingston, this was a fantastic game. They get a much-needed win over North Boone, 56-38. Stillman Valley defeated Rock Falls 42-6. And Dakota picked up their first win of the year over Rockford Lutheran, 58-36.
Kyle, I want to start with that last score. Dakota gets the win over Rockford Lutheran. So every team in the Northwest Upstate Illini has one non-conference game, correct?
That's correct.
And right now, give me their overall record after 5 weeks.
5-0, baby.
It is crazy. And let's be honest here. We're not messing around. It's Lena Winslow going on the road and beating Rochelle as one of those wins. So this conference never ceases to amaze.
Because next Friday you have probably one of the biggest games that we're looking forward to in Byron versus Dupec.
Yep.
So we're going to get a real eye-opener to if Dupec can truly be a contender. Obviously, the games that they've put up to this point have been impressive, but they still have to play Byron, then then Stockton, and then Lena Winslow.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's
going to be a lot of fun, but that'll give us a good test. A good litmus test of what we're looking for, especially looking into that 3A North bracket that we were just talking about a little bit ago.
Yeah, I love it.
Hey, real quick, friend of the show, Weather on the Go, has brought up that Dixon with 3 straight shutouts, and they've outscored opponents 174-0 since losing to Byron.
Oh, jeez. Hey, shout out to Weather on the Go. That's some good stuff.
I think they've only allowed 3 touchdowns all year. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah. Getting back to, Dakota's struggling right now, right? Like the program is struggling. They go and beat a big Northern Conference team in Rockford Lutheran. That's impressive. You know, it says something about this conference a lot. You know, it's not just a 1A conference. It's not just a good 1A conference. It's a good football conference, period.
Going back to the COVID year, Stockton beat Winnebago. Lena Winslow's beat Rockford Lutheran. Now Dakota's beat Rockford Lutheran. Dupec's beat Oregon. Dupec's beat Stillman Valley. The only team the NUIC's lost to is Byron.
Yeah. Yep. And that's and teams lose to them. That's a tough matchup. So interesting, like you said, looking at next week is what really kind of becomes an intriguing matchup to see how Dupec can fare in that matchup. So all right. Matt Randazzo. Again, how you doing, my friend?
Yo. I'm good. The Western Big Six is kind of weird, guys.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. It is kind of weird. Talk us through the Western Big
obviously
Six,
Moline obviously with a great win, but some of the other action can, and I've been sitting here not I mean, I'm listening and you guys are killing it, but I'm like trying to figure out this. I mean, that United Township Geneseo game is a huge game. Hats off to Geneseo. We kind of talked about it. I think Mitch talked about it on my show last night or today. We taped it last night, but whatever. It was that was, I don't want to say a must win for both, but it's a huge boost for Geneseo when you're looking postseason and getting to where you need to be. And now United Township left with some work to do now with 2 straight losses and 3-2 on the season. That's the way it happened once again. Just a really good football game first and foremost, and just a very important result, I think, when it comes to the grand scheme of things in the Western Big Six.
Well, it's back to back games of UT leading by 2 scores and losing. So you don't want to, like last week losing to Sterling, you didn't want to overreact to that. But now it's 2 weeks in a row that you've held. It was 21-3 against Sterling. It was 21-7 tonight. And the opponents come back and won the game. So Moline now sits solely atop the conference. But the way that these games have been being played week after week, they can't get comfortable there the way that some of these other teams have been playing.
Stock, what do you got?
Quincy is at UT next week. UT could very well be 3-3 after starting off 3-0.
Or they can come back and win and shock and be right back and rolling.
And they play Moline in week 8. So UT, I think, needs to win one of those 2 games to get their aura back that they had when they were 3-0 and flying high.
Yeah, I think, Mitch, this really intrigues me for our crystal ball episode coming up this next week. So on Tuesday, the episode coming out for the View from the West podcast will be our crystal ball episode, like we call it, where we kind of look ahead, because it kind of becomes every team has a 4-game schedule left, and how do we think it's all going to shake out? And Mitch, this United Township team, that's going to be an interesting study.
Yeah, because again, you don't want to overreact to last week, but now you got questions, right? And they've got, like Stock said, they've got Quincy now, and they've got Moline. Okay, I think they still certainly have winnable games against Rocky and Alleman, and they'll get to their 5 wins. But the conversation quickly went from can they win the conference to, okay, well, are they going to get playoff eligible? So I think the answer to the second one is still yes, but they've got to show out next week against a Quincy team that could be reeling a little bit after getting dismantled tonight by Moline.
Yeah. Oh, Stock, what do you got?
Also, they're going to be playing a Quincy team that is going to be in a very bad mood. Because I think...
but United Township will also be in a very bad mood.
Please stop while I'm talking for a moment.
I'm just saying.
Grant Dahlstrom said that this was the first time that Quincy's been shut out since 2009. So that's a long time ago for a Quincy team that was one of the best offenses we've seen last year, and a very good offense this year.
Did you?
Now you may talk, Dazzo.
Okay,
did you
thank
get
you.
Shushed? Did you get shushed by Brian Stocking?
That was it was nasty, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
That was like look away nasty.
Stock got kind of like.
So
I'm
curious, which team is going to be madder? A team that just blew 2 games by double 2 touchdowns or 2 scores, or a team that got shut out? Which team is madder? I think that's going to have a big factor in who wins that game, is the madness level of what's going on, right?
Well, remember, the team that got shut out at home and saw their 17-game conference
United Township lost at home as well last week. I just think they're both. We get caught up in the whole like which teams. I mean, they both need a victory next week, and it's as equally as important. Hey, I do want to mention Moline, obviously in the driver's seat. I think what's really important for them is they have Sterling in the rearview mirror, and don't look now, fellas, but John Schlemmer has Sterling playing really good football. We know what happened last week at United Township. I mean, you look at it, what is it? They outscored them 46-7, and then you add on 48-0. So it's, doing math in my head, 94-7 in the last 6 quarters, something like that. Yeah. Basically 6+ quarters. So that's impressive that I did that on the top of my head. So I think they're playing really good.
And they've got Alleman next week.
Yep. I always let Mitch be the math guy. Stock, what do you got here?
If Moline goes 8-1, they'll definitely have a first-round home game at Browning Field. Would they probably maybe be a top 8 seed?
I mean, I don't know. It's potential, depending on.
I don't know how many playoff wins they'll have.
Are we giving them wins?
Well,
I'm just saying, if they go 8-1,
if they
won their last 8, beat Sycamore, beat Quincy, beat UT, beat Sterling, beat Geneseo. I mean, I could see they would have an argument to be a top 8 seed.
If they go 8-1, yes, then their playoff points would look really good, because I'm guessing Sycamore is going to end with a pretty good record, and Rockford Summit is going to end up with a pretty good record out of Missouri. So, there's some question marks in there. But, if they do their job, I think, yes, that they would be, I don't know, top 8. They'd be they'd get a good seed in what would be a 7A field. Yeah. I think overall tonight, they really showed that they have, separated themselves a little bit from at least that Quincy, right? Like, that was a defiant win.
4 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 39-0 on the road at one of the top teams in the state. I mean, I mean that's one of the more dominant performances I think we've seen in recent years.
I'll say this real quick, boys. One, I guess I don't know who's maybe the biggest competition in the Western Big Six standing wise is, like we mentioned, Sterling. I mean, they have 1 loss, or they have 1 loss, and it's just to Moline.
Yep.
But they already lost to Moline. Quincy, I mean, UNT's got 2 losses now. But I did find it interesting, and it's right. He's right, and he did it in his normal, charming Mike Morrissey way. But like, Western Big Six is important, and they like to win it. But like, they've kind of moved the bar. They've changed the goalpost. Where yes, they want to do well in conference. Western Big Six titles are nice and important, but they're about playoff victories, and that's something that, as I was hammering my McDouble and driving home, I that kind of caught my eye. I was like, wow, like that's an intriguing statement, but I understand it. It's not like it's an arrogant one or anything, but that's what they're looking at is getting maybe 2 victories in the playoffs, and they've moved the bar a little farther down the field, which was interesting for me to see.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, Mitch or Kyle, what else we got here? I have not been able to show my Rock Ridge.
I was going to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was the people have been clamoring for these highlights, Greg.
Okay, well, I got them, and I want to show it. So let's go to the video, my friends.
Yes.
Okay, so
walk
as
us
we
through
know,
it here, Greg.
What's that?
I said walk us through it.
So early in the game, Rock Ridge goes for a 4th down. They don't get it. Later, it's Newman capitalizing. Matthew Blackard, 56 yards, nearly untouched there on the run.
Well shot.
To put up Newman 6-0. I want to go back. I want to pause here because I'm getting behind. But
it's tight. That's a tight shot on the ball there, Greg. Well done.
I'm telling you.
Center the lens.
Something was special tonight. You're going to see it in the next couple highlights. But so Matthew Blackard goes 56 yards, nearly untouched. They go up 6-0. Rock Ridge looking to respond. Colin Schweigen connects with Oh, now I can't remember his name. Hold on. See, I got to pull up the roster. You guys put me on the spot.
Was it Wheatley? Was it a steal?
I believe it was one of the Steele brothers. Hold on. This is bad radio here, but we're getting there.
Your script would be so bad right now on TV.
Let's see what I sent to Cuff. Hold on.
What?
In there. Okay. Let's go back. Owen Steele. That's Owen Steele making the play. This is late second quarter, just before the end of the half.
That's Cullen Schweigen.
Cullen Schweigen punches it in. Look at that kid dancing, by the way.
Hey, was that Chase?
Yeah, it was Chase Schweigen. He wasn't dancing, but yeah. The kid back here is dancing. Yeah. So
we're in the end zone. That's a flag.
So Schweigen punches it in. They go up 7-6 going into halftime. Second half, I just felt like who was going to win this game was somebody who's going to make some plays, and it was Schweigen and his wide receivers. That's Schweigen getting it to Chase Wheatley, who runs through traffic, scores the touchdown, puts him up 14-6. Look at this. You ready for this?
Oh my! Wow!
Could you shoot a little tighter, Greg?
Owen Steele on the reception. Unbelievable. Like, I'm serious. Like, this whole thing is just ridiculous. The pass is on the money. Owen Steele grabs it, dives for the end zone. Might be one of the best plays I've ever shot. It's unbelievable.
Wow. Hey, Greg, I'm hiring a videographer, but you got to come up this way a little bit more.
Oh man, it was such a
That's
moment.
the thing. Like you're celebrating the play. You guys are celebrating like the catch, which is impressive. Man, the camera work, Greg. I mean, if you know, you know. If anybody's watching, if you know, you know. That's really like Mitch is shaking his head. Like that's hats off to you, my friend. That's well done.
Yeah. Sorry, it was a struggle to get. Sorry, I had to pull up my notes because I started playing the video before I knew what I was talking about. But man, it was one of those nights where here's the thing is I almost left because like Rock Ridge was up 14-6 and I was getting worried about getting back and getting everything set up and getting on the air for this, and I almost left, and then I stuck around.
Pearsonitis.
And man, thank God I did. That play is unbelievable. So, yep.
I love it. Pearsonitis at its finest.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yep. Stock, what do you think?
I liked it. I mean, reminds me of the old days when you and Nick Bull would have those contests on who had the best shots. I mean, that was pretty good, Bud. Hey, Bud.
I was actually, it's funny you bring up Nick Bull. I talked to Bully tonight on the sidelines. He might have been in the background of that video, actually. But talked to Bully on the sidelines. I joked about giving him the camera, and he says he's too far out of the business. He couldn't hang anymore. He's, too far removed. So I still would have given him my camera and let him shoot.
Did you tell him? Did you tell him that back in the day he probably couldn't hang with you anyways, so it really wouldn't have mattered? I'm just saying.
No,
I mean,
what I would have said is neither one of me or Bully were better than Dazzo. That's what I should have told him. So
that's I mean, that goes without saying. I loved it when you get a Pearson every so often would be like, Dazzo, there is a zoom on that camera, and you're like,
I heard that. Yep,
the goat, the goat lets me know what's up.
It's just like ride a bicycle. That's what I would have told Bully. Once you've done it, you don't forget. I mean,
yep. Should have let him ride.
Goat knows goat.
We're 2 hours in. We're losing it here, boys.
Our executive producer Mitch is letting us know.
Mitch is giving us a hard rap.
Yeah, that's it. This is our
God
longest-
forbid,
this is our longest-
Greg
this is our
starts
longest
getting a few
react we've done.
compliments, and
Yep.
Yeah.
Greg
You
starts
gotta
getting some
reel it in.
compliments, and Mitch is like, "All right, wrap things up. It's time to go." Hey,
Yeah, it's quarter
give
after 1 in Ohio.
give a quick
it is.
recap of just real fast of the guests on the show here tonight. We had Sam Graves,
Yep.
Guy Derricks, Mike Morrissey.
Adolphson.
I'm missing some.
Jeremy Adolphson.
Adolphson. Gosh
Sean-
dang it! And the kids
Sean
just
Downey.
taunting me, just taunting.
That's
like,
why you get
they
heat because you
taunted
can't
me.
remember his name.
Sean Downey from Stockton as well, and the athletic directors from Rock Ridge and Newman. It's awesome. All right,
Awesome
Mitch,
show. Awesome
before
show.
before we wrap it all up, one more time, let's do all of the scores from every conference, start in the big schools and go through the list.
We're gonna have Kyle bring in the 8-man scores too, because I
Yep.
know he's got those. Western Big Six. Geneseo gets the 36-33 win over United Township. You had Sterling defeating Galesburg 48-0. Rock Island gets the game over Alleman, called in the third quarter, 51-0. And Moline, the statement game of the night, 39-0 over Quincy.
All right, and let's get to the Three Rivers. Here we go.
Three Rivers on the Mississippi side, you had Monmouth Roseville taking care of Princeton 36-8. Mendota defeats Sherrard 14-10. Hall blanks Kewanee 44-0. On the Rock side, game of the night, Rock Ridge defeats Newman 26-6. You had the Riverdale Rams getting to 4-1, a 42-28 win over Orion, and Erie Prophetstown 43-15 over Mercer County.
Big Northern. Here we go.
In the Big Northern, it was Byron 55-7 over Winnebago. Dixon 56-0 over Oregon. Genoa Kingston gets the nice win over North Boone 56-38. Stillman Valley defeats Rock Falls 42-6, and Dakota picks up their first win of the year, a 58-36 win over Rockford Lutheran.
All right. We'll go to the LLC, but then Kyle, be ready to go. I'll let you read the NUIC and the 8-man scores in a few minutes here, in a second here. So let's go to the small schools and the LLC.
Savannah gets the win 28-0 over Rova Williamsfield. You had Princeville sneaking past T-Town 21-20. And on Weathersfield got the big win 35-14 over Rushville Industry. Stark County moved to 5-0 with a 49-22 win over Monmouth United. And South Fulton a 49-0 win over LVC.
And the LVC large. Here we go.
West Hancock got the big win over Illini West 18-14. Elmwood Brimfield defeated Bureau Valley 38-22. You had Farmington continue to roll. They beat Knoxville 54-23. Macomb defeat Breeze Mater Dei 41-36. And again, that South Fulton win over LVC 49-0.
All right. The Northwest Upstate Illini, we bring in Kyle Kampmeyer. Give us the scores, Kyle.
Stockton beats Morrison 60-20. Dupec beats EPC 38-0. Forreston with the big win 22-20 over Galena. Lena Winslow beats Fulton 47-6. And as we already mentioned, Dakota over Rockford Lutheran 58-36.
So Kyle, while you're on here, give us some 8-man scores you got from Friday night here.
Amboy beats Galva 66-6. Polo beats AFC 52-6. Milledgeville takes care of River Ridge 68-26. West Central beats West Prairie 36-0. Flanagan Cornell Woodland beats Ridgewood 46-22. And we'll just take a look at a couple other games. Martinsville over Blue Ridge 44-6. South Fork over St. Anne in our big one of the week 48-26. Alden Hebron Olsha beats Christian Life 51-18. And South Beloit beats Hiawatha 34-14.
Awesome.
Did you say West Carroll how they did?
West Carroll plays tomorrow at noon against Orangeville.
And then they've got Milledgeville next week, right?
That's correct.
There you go. Awesome. All right. Mitch, tell the people what they can expect on Tuesday for the Crystal Ball episode.
They can they can expect that the Cincinnati Reds will be in a playoff spot as they won tonight, and the Marlins took care of the Mets, and the Diamondbacks are pretty much eliminated at this point. So we'll be talking about Cincinnati Reds baseball on Tuesday.
Oh, well, good. Not what I was expecting, but okay. Thank you.
It'll be a short show because they're going to get rocked by the Dodgers. No, in all seriousness, we're going to record on Sunday. We'll still release it on Tuesday, but this is going to be our show where we look at the next 4 weeks. We won't do too much game recapping. I mean, we talked 2 hours tonight. We won't do too much week 5 recap. There'll be some talk, but what we're really going to be focused on is the next 4 weeks. We're going to look at every conference, every team, what their next 4 weeks look like, and maybe throw a little crystal ball projections as to how they're going to finish, if they're going to get into a playoff spot, or just how we think the conferences might play out. So it's usually a super fun show. We can go back in week 9 to see how well we predicted it, but this is the time of the year now. Again, we're talking about teams that have qualified for the playoffs. It's getting real now. These playoff brackets are going to start filling in pretty quickly. So this is kind of our first step into doing that and looking into the next 4 weeks future.
Yep. Stock, what do you think? What's your next 4 weeks look like?
I think we're going to have some major league upsets, and I also think you're going to see a couple of teams sneak into the playoffs with a 4-5 record.
Okay. Yep. You think we're going to get some local teams at a 4-5 record?
Possibly Geneseo.
No.
And
okay.
maybe a team from the Three Rivers.
Okay. All right.
No, I don't think there's any chance Geneseo goes 4-5 after winning tonight.
Oh, all right. Well,
Just
we
saying.
have some dissension in the ranks here.
That's gonna be part of Tuesday's show.
Yep. There we go. I love it. Dazzo, final thoughts tonight?
I really and I was out at Riverdale. Really happy, obviously, to see what they're doing now, 4-1. It's intriguing. We've talked about the track a lot, and Erie, Prophetstown, Orion now has some work to do, and Riverdale are all kind of in that grouping where if Orion wants to make the playoffs, they probably got to beat Erie Prophetstown coming up. If Erie Prophetstown wants to get in the playoffs, they got to beat Orion and maybe Riverdale or something along those lines to get in as well. So really interesting how maybe we've kind of separated the top part of the two divisions a little bit when it comes to what Monmouth Roseville did and what Rock Ridge did, but intrigued with the rest of it as well. So good stuff there. And also, I'm sorry, Monmouth Roseville, please forgive me.
What?
I won't do it. I won't do it again, Jeremy. Greg dared me to do it, and like he double dog dared me, and I was like, if I. And I'm sitting here I'm in the lobby watching the show on the big screen, of course, and I'm like, let me in. So, but yeah, hats off to the boys down in Monmouth Roseville, and they got so it's Monmouth Roseville and Rock Ridge still play this year, like soon, right?
Week 8.
Week 8, he said.
Say it again.
Week 8, I think.
Week 8.
Yeah, it's week 8.
Yep.
Because Monmouth Roseville gets Rock Ridge and Newman.
Where's that game at?
One of those two schools.
Hold on.
We can look it up later. I'm sorry,
in the
guys.
meantime-
At Rock Ridge.
At Rock, yeah, that would make sense because it was in Monmouth last year. In the meantime, I feel bad. Dan Pearson, he's the best. I don't need to tell anyone that. He's the best. He sent me video of UT and Geneseo, and he says he's suffering from real Pearsonitis here because I didn't get a chance to download it, get it on the show, but we will have it on Tuesday.
That'll be a feature on Tuesday for sure. We will set aside time for that.
He stayed till the end of the game.
So
we
can
gotta
I
get
tell
it all
people
in.
what really happened? Can I tell people what really happened? Greg
Yeah.
did a good job shooting tonight, and he downloaded Dan's video, and Dan Dan one upped you, didn't he? He went up, and like it's better,
Yeah,
and
that's
you don't want to
just-
show it. Like let's call a spade a spade.
I'm sorry, can't show it. I don't
I'm
have
I
telling
it.
you.
can't fathom anything different.
Trying to produce
Yeah.
this show on a
It will
fly.
download. I don't get it.
Trying to produce this show on the fly and bring in guests and bring in video and bring in scoreboards. It's a lot.
Hey, this was our most efficient one of the year so far. We're getting there.
Yeah. Except for what? Yeah. All right, I'll take it. I'll take the win.
It was.
All right, boys. Kyle Kampmeyer, Brian Stocking, Matt Randazzo, Mitch Stormer. I can't thank you guys enough because really, like, I love what we have here on a Friday night. It's gold. It's the stockpile gold every week. Look at him beaming with pride. Brian Stocking. Let's just say it. When Riverdale does what they're going to do, you're going to shave your head in excitement for the Riverdale Rams.
No.
No, we're
I will
having a
not
good
shave my
moment
head.
here. We're having a good moment, so let's just let it ride.
Why do you have this fetish about me being bald?
No, it's not that. It's
Yes,
your
it
excitement.
is.
It's
You
your
have a
excitement for
sickness
your
with
alma
this.
mater.
I am not shaving my head.
Did you see? Real quick, did you see him? Like honestly,
He was pumping his
Guy
fist.
Derek's popped up and he's like,
Yeah, he was. Stock. What?
"It's him, Santa! I know him."
That's the way you are when I show up.
Yes.
All right, Stock. I'll give you a real moment then. Okay. Tell me about. I know Riverdale still has work to do, but if they make the playoffs,
Pearson in the chat. Pearson's.
Pearson from the top rope.
I'm not seeing it. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Okay. Stock.
Yes, I'm here.
What are your thoughts on Riverdale? You got to be excited.
I am very excited. These guys have worked really
clinch
hard.
next week, Stock?
What?
Do they clinch next week, EP?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they'll clinch being eligible, and then
Okay. Yeah. Right.
you know, but what these kids
They'll be
have done has been pretty short of amazing, and this year they've put it all together, and they've done something that a lot of Riverdale teams couldn't do in the past, and that's win games that you have to win to get in the playoffs. When I was in school, we always find a way to step on a rake and lose to Prophetstown or lose to
That was
Erie.
like 50 years ago.
But also,
No,
step
it was
on a
only
rake?
30. But
Step
what
on
I'm
a rake.
saying
School with
is these
Sideshow
kids have
Bob?
put it together, and they deserve all the credit and all the plaudits they're getting.
Step on a
Sideshow
rake?
Bob.
They will go. I think they'll go 7-2.
Hold on? Can we acknowledge the step on a rake? Like, so you're saying the rake hits him in the head?
In the past, not this year.
I'm-
They're going to go 7-2. The game I'm worried about is Newman in 2 weeks. I think they beat Erie Prophetstown. Although it will be a very good game. It will be a close game. It even might go to overtime.
I was just pointing out the whole, like, the step on a rake and it hits you in the head analogy. But, you know, we're there.
But I really think though that next week's game against Erie Prophetstown will be a great game. I think they'll go 7. I think they'll beat Erie Prophetstown, probably maybe even in overtime. I think the game goes to overtime, and then they'll go 7-2. That game against Newman scares me though. Newman's really good.
Yep. He's calling overtime for next week, so I want to know, Stock. I want you to I want something to happen. You know, like want a jersey on. I want to make something happen here when but
I'm not. The hair stays.
all right, Mitch, you got to come up with something for Stock.
Stockpile. Can we put a pie in your face, Stockpile?
No, you're getting the pie from Ness Guest because you're gonna get beat by Ness.
Yes, let's focus on you. What can we do to you, like
will you
in an
Hulkamania
embarrassing
a
way
Riverdale
when
shirt?
Riverdale?
What?
Will you Hulkamania a Riverdale shirt?
No, I'm not ripping up clothing.
That sounds like a great idea.
I'm not Hulk Hogan.
What if we like pre-tear the, we can make it work.
Why would you want to wreck good clothing? Why would you want to wreck great clothing?
It's
Stockpile.
viral
When it
moment
happens,
stock.
you paint a ram on your chest and wear it on the score.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
No one wants to. That would get us thrown off the air by the FCC.
I want anybody who watches this, and if you're still watching this or all the way watched through to this point, bless you, to send in good ideas for what stocking will do when Riverdale makes the playoffs.
That's a great
I'll
idea.
be happy.
And then we'll do a vote of all of them, and then Stockpile will do that, and we will also give money to the kids. I don't know. It just made it sound better. So
I think you and Coach Guy Derricks could work together to find something great to do when Riverdale Rams have success.
I will be happy and smiling when they get in the playoffs.
Well, yes, that's a given, and then we'll figure out what's next.
That's all that really you need. Get in the playoffs, and I'll
with
be
a
smiling
ripped
and happy.
shirt or a bald head, one of those
Yep.
two.
No.
things.
Yep.
You guys have a problem with that bald head stuff. Maybe we need to have Dazzo shave his head.
Okay.
okay,
I'm glad.
I will shave my head if you shave your head.
No, I'm not doing that.
Stay.
There we go. Well,
Never
I'm glad-
happening.
Mitch, I'm glad you and I decided that stocking will do something, in fact, when Riverdale
I'm
makes
glad
the
he agreed
playoffs.
to it.
Yeah,
I'm glad he
that's
agreed
great.
to it.
I'm glad we've agreed to all
Awesome.
of it.
Stockpile,
And
you're the
I'm
best. Everybody
Thanks,
give it up for
Stockpile.
Brian Stocking.
I muted him now, so he can't talk anymore. So
Yep,
we've
you're the
all
best,
agreed-
Stockpile.
Yep, we've all agreed. It's
Yep.
gonna be great. It's gonna be so much fun.
A man of the people. A man of the people.
Man of his word.
He's the best.
Man of his word.
Absolutely. All right, Kyle. Before we go, what are we looking for next week in the NUIC?
That's a good question. You kind of threw me off on that one. Give
Well,
me
I
one
think,
second here.
I'll set you up. I think we'll learn more about Dupek. Like, how do they match up with Byron?
That's
I think
absolutely
we'll
true.
still continue to learn more about Dupek.
Yep.
We're definitely going to learn that. The big game will be, in my opinion, Forest and EPC, because that will definitely see playoff livelihood on the line there. Stockton, Galena, like Coach Downey was saying, that's a big rivalry game. We've seen favorites go into that game and come out on the other end of that many times, so that will be a big one there. I still feel Stockton will win that, but it'll be fun.
Yep.
Yeah. That's it for the NUIC right there, man.
Yep. Wow. How about Mitch? So the question becomes then, did week 2 get surpassed or not quite?
I think Stock has a point where there was plenty of excitement, but the big games that we hyped up were not close.
Yeah.
So I give Stock credit on that. I think week 6 is sneaky good. I don't know that it will be up to par of week 2 still. I'm still gonna hold strong on week 2, but I think week 6 can match what happened this week in terms of excitement.
Yeah.
It's a good slate of games.
Yeah. Well, hey, everybody. Oh, Stock already jumped out. He's
Stock
done.
just left.
He's done.
It's just the old Irish goodbye.
Hey, boys, I really appreciate it. Well, Logan agrees. Week 6 is going to be electric. We're going to leave it on that note with Logan Swan. Week 6 is going to be electric. Thank you, Kyle, for jumping in. Thank you, Matt Randazzo, for jumping in. Mitch, as always, thank you for controlling the command center on the X machine and getting us all the score updates. And we'll be back Tuesday, jumping into the crystal ball. I can't wait. We say it along the way, but this is the most exciting time of the year until the next time is the most exciting.
Yeah. The church bells are singing at the moment. They're faint, but they're singing.
Yep. So there we go. Thank you so much who listens. Thank you so much for following along. Subscribe on YouTube if you don't already. Let's get us to our goal of 750 by the end of the year. I appreciate everyone who listens along. We'll be back Tuesday looking into the crystal ball, looking ahead.